Alright, it is time to jump into Illustrator, and I'm just going to run over a few basics of Illustrator before we jump in and add our image in an image trace. So we're going to set up our first document, and I'm going to come over to create new. If you don't have this screen, you can come down to file, new. We'll pop up with this create new document options, and there's loads of presets everywhere. We can go to mobile, web, print. We're going to stick in print. You can pick letter or A4. In my country, we work in A4. So I'm going to select that, and it doesn't matter which orientation we're going to use. I might name it something like illustration. We don't need any bleed because we aren't going to print. We'd probably prefer RGB in this case. I'm going to leave it at 300 ppi, and then once we've got our, let's change the measurements to, let's go millimeters. You could also go inches or pixels, and we can hit create. Now once the document is open, I prefer to work in Essentials Classic, and that's our workspace. So we can come up to this tab here, click on it, and we can click Essentials Classic if it isn't selected already. I'm also going to click on Essentials Classic, then run down and press Reset Essentials Classic. That's just going to reset the whole layout. We can also do this under Window, Workspace, Essentials Classic, and then Reset Essentials Classic. Alright, over here we have a tool panel, or our toolbar. Up here we have some preset options that changes depending on what tool we have selected. If you can see, if we change to the type tool, you can see it adds our options for the type tool. I'm going to go back to the selection tool. Over here we have some other panels, and these are all the panels for different tools. We want the properties panel open, so we want to go Windows down to properties. We also want to add the image trace panel because we are going to be using this. So let's open that up, and we can click up in this little area here, in the blank area. We can click and drag that over and add it here, and just let go. So we want to make sure it is, when we drag it in, turns into a little blue. We can let go and it turns into a little icon. Then it's part of this tab here. Alright, up the top here we have our selection tool, and the selection tool allows us to select shapes, and we can also access that by pressing V. So if I click on the selection tool, I can grab it and shift it anywhere I like. So let's put that in the center, and I just drew a shape using the rectangle tool. So if I grab the rectangle tool and click on it, and just click and drag to draw a shape. Down here we can also add colors to that shape. So we can double click on, this is the fill, to add a color to the shape. I'm going to change the color, something like that. And we can also change the stroke. Double click on it and change it to a different color. And you can see we're changing the fill and the stroke. Let's come up here to change it now, and we can click on it and take the stroke away, and I'm just going to change the fill back to black maybe. Another way to change our fill and stroke is over in the properties panel, and we can just double click or click on it and change the color, add a stroke, and we can also change the opacity over here. Alright, the next tool I want to show you is the direct selection tool, and this tool allows us to edit an anchor point. So if I zoom in here, I'm going to hold Alt and use my scroll wheel, and I'm going to zoom up and then let go of the Alt key, and now I can zoom in and I can see this shape, and I had it selected from when I used my selection tool, and I can click and drag over it to select it, and then I can come to my direct selection tool and I can select an anchor, and these little anchors over the side, all of them are currently selected because they are all highlighted in blue. If I just select one, you can see the other two now have white fills and they aren't selected. So I can select one, and that means I can just edit this point by clicking and dragging it. I can use Ctrl-Z to go back. If I come down here, I can also press Shift and select another, and I can edit two at once. So Shift allows me to select two shapes at once. I can also select three and edit. We also have this little option under here. It's the corner widgets, and we can click and drag that to add corners, and we're adding corners to whatever corners we have selected, like so. Now that's probably all the tools you need to know for this course. We'll run over like image trace, and we'll run over the other tools a bit later. Another tool that you may want to know is the shape builder tool, and if I drag this shape over top, I can press Shift M, or I can come down here to the shape builder tool and click that, and I can't use it yet because I have to select with my selection tool both shapes I want to edit. Now if I press Shift M or click on my shape builder tool, I can edit these shapes. And maybe I want to take this shape out of the other one, and I just hold Alt, go back, hold Alt. You can see I got the little minus next to my cursor, and I can go back and just take it away like so. I can edit this shape, of course, with the direct selection tool, and I can drag over these two, and let's say drag it up. I can add a round to it like so and make a funky looking shape. We can also draw circles. We can come down to our rectangle tool, come down to our ellipse, and we can hold Shift, draw a nice big circle out. Shift keeps the proportions, so we've got a perfect circle. If I don't hold Shift and just click and draw one out, you can see I can distort and warp it. Alright, that's going to be it for this lesson. Next lesson we'll actually put our image in and image trace it so that we can then add color and all sorts of other things to it.